elevation, so expect heavy rainfall during the morning commute both today and tomorrow. Thursday afternoon, clearing conditions with a high of 78. Be sure to download our weather app. It's free for iPhone and Android. I'm meteorologist Allison Pryor for the Channel 3 Storm Alert team.
All right now your current Vascular Institute temperature standing at 72 degrees.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Discovery Outlet. Save up to 70% off name brand merchandise every day at Discovery Outlet. Locally owned and operated on North Lee Highway in Cleveland next to Don Ledford Automotive. Discovery Outlet, where smart shoppers save.
All right, we're going to turn our attention to an in-studio interview this afternoon. A friend of mine that I have known her and her children for quite some time, Annie Baines, is here with us. She's here today representing Peerless Road Church and an organization and a group that she has helped put together called Second Stage, Grandparenting, a ministry of help and encouragement for second-time parents. So again, I'm going to welcome in my friend right now. Annie, how are you doing this afternoon?
I am great, Dwayne. Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it.
Well, it's really good to have you in our studio today. We were kind of catching up with the kids and things like that. I've known your children for quite some time, and it sounds like they're doing good.
They are doing wonderful.
Well, tell me about this thing. You were telling me before we went on the air that God brought this to you in a vision one night. You were there sleeping, and this vision came to you crystal clear. Your husband, who I know as well, Doug, you got up and was telling him the story you were telling me a while ago. Kind of walk us through that and tell us what Second Stage is all about.
All right, Dwayne. Well, I woke up one morning and I said to Doug, don't say a word. Let me finish what I have to tell you. And I proceeded to tell him that God had laid on my heart to start a ministry for grandparents that are raising their grandchildren, and that it is to be called Second Stage. And because Second Stage, these people are in the second stage of their life, a stage that they never expected to be in most cases. And the children that they're raising also are in a second stage because they expected to be living at home with mom and dad probably, and all of a sudden they're living with their grandparents. So I've never changed the name, and we were supposed to kick this ministry off right after spring break of this year. And we know what happened there. So we actually kicked it off a couple weeks ago, and it was very exciting to see what God is doing and how he is bringing this into flourishing in Cleveland. It's interesting. I've been going around to the schools throughout Cleveland and talking to counselors, and in Cleveland the average counselor's telling me they have between 20 and 30% of the students are being raised by their grandparents. Now I'm going to be really conservative because nobody can document those numbers, so we can't say hardcore because that's not something we do a stat on when we enroll our children. And so being really conservative, if we say 10 to 15%, that means in the elementary schools, we have between 11 and 1,400 students that are being raised by grandparents. And in the middle schools and high school, that's between 800 and 1,200 students. So over 2,000 students, and that's not even counting kids that are infants through pre-K. How many here in Cleveland? So over 2,000 students. That's being very conservative. It's being raised by grandparents. So this whole Connect group is to bring these people together, and so that they can share what's going on in their heart. And it's very different as I talk to the counselors between the elementary, the middle, and the high schools. Very different issues are going on there. Some of these grandparents have had their children since they were infants. Others, all of a sudden, you've got a 12-year-old, and all of a sudden he or she's having to go live with grandma and grandpa. Hard change for both of them.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Again, we're speaking with Annie Baines. She is here talking about Second Stage. It is a ministry that is bringing grandparents that are raising children together to kind of go over some of the challenges and battles that they go through. You know, some of the tough questions that's in your brochure. I'm just going to read over a couple of these. And these are some of the things that you explore at these meetings: how to deal with shame or guilt and forgiveness. Sometimes kids feel that. They may feel it's their fault, that the circumstances that their parents may have chosen or was in. And how do you explain why mom and dad is not involved in their lives? And of course, what does the Bible say about the responsibility of having grandchildren, and all these different things for children and adults? You mentioned the different age brackets that's going to be a part of this. So I'm sure there's a lot to navigate through in these meetings. Now, these meetings happen, again, at Peerless Road Church. You've actually got one coming up tonight. Is that right?
That's right. At 6:40 tonight, if you just come in through the Welcome Center, there will be someone there, my wonderful husband. They'll be wearing a black T-shirt that says Second Stage on it, and he'll direct you where we're going. And we usually do it every other week, but because of Thanksgiving and Christmas, our next one is going to be in November. We're going to jump to November 4th, which would be next Wednesday, and then November 18th. And we don't want to do meetings when families should be together at Thanksgiving and Christmas time. So December will be December 2nd and December 16th. And again, it's at 6:40, and you can bring your kids because Peerless Road Church has ministry for all ages, and an outstanding teens ministry, an outstanding children's ministry, and at our last meeting, someone brought their kids that had never been there before, and I want to invite, this is not just a Peerless Road event, this is for everybody around. And some kids came, and they didn't want to leave, and they've been telling Grandma they're definitely coming this week. So that was pretty exciting, yeah.
Good stuff there. You know, you got some grandparenting facts in your brochure, which is really put together nicely here. It says here in the state of Tennessee, there are 62,000 children that are living with a relative with a non-parent present. And 76,406, the pamphlet says, grandparents are responsible for their grandchildren who are with them. And so those are some things there. And then you also, in your little brochure here, tell us about some resources that are available for grandparents. Kind of go over that just a little bit as far as those resources that's available. Besides these meetings that you guys do there at Peerless Road, what else is available to them?
Absolutely, and that's one of the meetings we'll be having to really go through, because some of these children are not adopted, so they're not legally being raised by the grandparents. You know, the parent supposedly still has legal custody, so sometimes social services are not available to these kids. But we do want to talk about those. We want to talk about health services that available for children, or how to get some food or clothing that they may need. A lot of these parents, we have found that 30% of the grandparents that are raising kids have disabilities themselves. So with that in mind, and 28% are single. So there's a lot of financial needs as well. And then you bring on a child, or maybe 2 or 3 kids that you're not expecting to raise, and you've got quite a financial. So we will be going through on how to reach out and get some of these services that you need as well. And we also have found a lot of married couples are really dealing with marital issues. I spoke with one couple, and they've had their grandchildren for 7 years. In 7 years, they've never had a date. They've never had quality time alone, not even a couple hours, just to get away and have a pizza and sit down and reconnect. And they said, you know, their marriage is in trouble. So we're going to have someone who's a marriage counselor come in one evening. We're going to have someone that's been through Dave Ramsey's course that come in and talk about financial peace and how to budget, because a lot of these people are thinking they're going to retire, and now all of a sudden retirement looks like a long ways away, depending on the children's age. And so there's a lot of different things that grandparenting involves that, you know, it's not the apple pie of mom and grandma and grandpa just get to bake cookies and take them fishing. Now they have to discipline these children. They have to buy clothes. They have to take them to the doctor. They have to do all these things that they thought they were past.
That's exactly right. Again, we're speaking with Annie Baines, talking about Second Stage ministry to help people that are grandparents that are helping raise their children, their children's children, I guess is the best way to say it there. And there is lots of stumbling blocks along the way that they probably need some help with. You know, you mentioned something a while ago for me with my grandson. Whenever I have an opportunity, I want to spend every second of every day with him. But I do know in the back of my mind at the end of the day, he's going home with mom and dad. Right. And then I also know if I do have the opportunity to keep him over a weekend, there again, it's a treat for both of us. Right. But, you know, I don't know at my age if I could keep up with the demand. You know, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, but they get through it. it has to be very challenging to say, like you said, I'm at a point in my life I thought I was doing some work, coming home, doing my thing, working in the yard, have my little hobby, and then sitting on the couch watching Wheel of Fortune every night and this, that, and the other. The next thing I know, I'm running kids here, there, and yonder, maybe in some responses changing diapers, running them to practices at schools, and doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, and the thing is, too, is when you raised your kids, bullying meant they were picked on out at recess or
Right.
whatever. Bullying today is social media, and it's a whole nother ballgame, and that's going to be a whole nother issue we're going to really talk about. That a lot of counselors have mentioned that these cell phones today, they don't leave a child's hand.
No, they don't.
But as one counselor said to me, and I love this, she said, as a parent or a grandparent, you have control over that phone. So sometimes we just need to take those phones away from them. And boy, whew, that's punishment. Yeah, that's discipline right there.
Well, again, we want to let you guys know out there in our listening audience that you can visit Peerless Road Church. When I say visit, this is for anyone. You don't have to be a member of Peerless Road Church. That's going to be going on tonight, again on November the 4th and the 18th, December the 2nd and 16th. Also, there'll be a 2021 schedule to be announced. Peerless Road Church, of course, located at 3301 Peerless Road here in Cleveland. Now, for more information, Annie, they can give you a call. So give us that number and the website, please.
Okay, it is Annie Baines, and my phone number is 423-244-3007, and I did just set up a Second Stage Facebook account. It's very new, so there's not a lot on it, but it does have all our dates on there that we will be meeting, and we'll be adding to that. And truly invite everybody, because you know, if we have 2,000 students here in the Cleveland area, there's somebody you work with, a neighbor, you know, somebody you know, I promise, that is raising their grandkids, and this could be a great way for them to connect and help them out, and that's what this is all about.
Well, Annie, it was great to see you, and just a fantastic program you've got going there, and we definitely know that's the Lord. When you got this much content and this much knowledge, it had to be a passion for you once you dove into it, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate being here.
No problem at all. All right, we're going to get to the music right now. Coming up next, we'll get you another news update, so stay here with us on Mix 104.1 WCLE.